Everything you need to get set for investing in the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange this week, straight from the city of Dar es Salaam. Good morning, everyone. This is A Trader DSE Weekly Update. We appreciate your tuning in. We really do. Now let's get straight into it. Let's start with the most liquid shares. Now, these are shares that were the easiest to buy and sell last week, and they include the following. At number 1, we have CRDB Bank, accounting for 43.6% of the total volume traded for the week. At number 2, we have the other banking giant, NMB Bank, accounting for 39.2% of the total volume traded for the week. And finally, at number 3, we have Swissport Tanzania, accounting for 13.3% of the total volume traded for the week. Now, why was there such a large trade with Swissport stock, you might be asking yourself? Stick around for company news to find out why. Now, also concerning NMB being amongst the top traded stocks last week, there were 2 different block trades on Tuesday and Wednesday, as you can see from the table here. We noticed that the price traded under the normal board was in fact lower than the price traded in the block trade board, which basically just tells us how much NMB shares are very much demanded. Now, a block trade generally happens when an entity purchases shares worth more than 200 million Tanzanian shillings of a company at a pre-arranged price or a negotiated price, which is generally different from the price which is at the market. Alright, now going to our weekly market stats. Now, last week, the all-share index closed at 1,893.37 Tanzanian shillings on Friday, which is a 1.01% increase compared to 1,879.44 Tanzanian shillings on Monday. Now, the companies which contributed the most to this change were from the banks, finance, and investment sector, where we can see the stock price changes as follows. And we also had some movements in other sectors like the industrial and allied, where we see EABL had gone up by 0.72% last week. Now, getting into company news, guys, on Wednesday, 25th May 2022, the leading local cement producer, Tanzania Portland Cement Company, had held its 30th annual general meeting at the Ramada Beach Resort located in Jangwani, Dar es Salaam. In the meeting, they had reappointed PricewaterhouseCoopers as their external auditor, and they also revealed certain discussions made by Scandem to acquire Tanga Cement, and which are still under discussion. Now, they approved of a dividend payment of 390 shillings per share, which gives us a dividend yield of 9.33% based on the market price of 4,180 shillings as of Friday, 27th May 2022. Did you know that if you compare this to a company such as Apple, which has a dividend yield of 0.62%, it means that if you'd invested 1 million Tanzanian shillings into both Twiga Cement and Apple at the same exact time, you would have gotten a dividend payment worth 93,000 from Twiga Cement and only 6,200 from Apple, respectively. What we're just trying to do is to show you guys that there are some really good options in the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. You don't always have to go out to like the more famous companies. Home could be where you get your better returns. And so basically this shows us that Twiga Cement has more to offer in terms of dividend. Now, Twiga Cement share prices had also risen by 23% from January 1st at a market price of 3,400 per share to 4,180 shillings per share as of 27th May 2022. And on Thursday, 27th May, Swissport Tanzania had held its 37th annual general meeting at the Hyatt Regency in Dar es Salaam. In this meeting, KPMG had been reappointed as the external auditors of the company, and the directors' remuneration for 2022 had been approved, of which the rates had not changed since April 2021. And also a final dividend per share of 29.8 shillings, which gives us a dividend yield of 3.01% at the price of 990 shillings, has been approved for the financial year ended December 2021. Now, did you also know that if you compare this Swissport, the dividend yield, to a company such as Microsoft, which gives a dividend yield of 0.91%, this means that if you had invested, again, 1 million Tanzanian shillings into both Swissport and Microsoft, you would get a 30,100 dividend payment from Swissport PLC, and only 9,100 from Microsoft respectively. Hence, also showing that Swissport PLC would become a more suitable investment to maximize your returns. Swissport PLC share prices had also dropped by 1% from January 1st, as at a market price of 1,000 per share to 990 shillings as of 27th May. Now, the share prices seem to be recovering from its lowest point of 900 recorded on 24th May, and this is due to the financial results for the year 2021, if we're being quite honestly, which showed a recovery in terms of its financial performance, where more notably the company had moved from a loss of 2.5 billion in December 2020 to a profit of 2.17 billion Tanzanian shillings in December 2021. Now, for more in-depth news concerning these companies' AGMs, please check out our website, which is going to pop on the screen right there, www.atrader.co.tz. Moving on to the Treasury Bond section, as you can see from these tables, the new 25-year Treasury Bond with a coupon rate of 12.56 were traded at premium prices, but not as high as the old 25-year Treasury bonds. Now, the reason why they are transacted at slightly lower premium prices than the old ones is because the demand for these bonds aren't as high, due to the fact that they do offer lower coupon rates. Now, the purchase of these bonds at the prices led to these yield trends. Now, these yields are basically the profits or the returns that bondholders get if they bought these bonds at a certain market price. Now, the lower the price you buy a bond for, the higher the yield a bondholder gets, and vice versa. And over here we have the results of the 5-year Treasury Bond auction, which was held on Wednesday, 25th May 2022. Now, it was oversubscribed by 10.49 billion Tanzanian shillings, which means that investors had come forth with more money than what the government was requesting for. So it should be noted that this Treasury Bond is the one with the new coupon rate, which is 6.32% lower than the coupon rate of 9.18%. Now, the minimum price to go through was 96.5209, which is a discount value, which means that it is lower than the face value of the bond, which is 100. Now, this means that investors were not actually willing to pay the bond's face value of 100. And also over here, we have the two upcoming Treasury Bond auctions for the rest of the government's financial year, 2021 to 2022. Thank you for choosing A Trader as your partner to financial freedom. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms to keep updated. Have a great week ahead, and karibuni sana.